Hello everybody, welcome back to the Pokemon Review Series. In this episode we are going over one of my favorite designs for a Pokemon. I just love this Pokemon. It's gorgeous. It's got a gorgeous shiny, like Skeledirge, fantastic, peak Pokemon design. But yeah, Skeledirge. What does Skeledirge do in this game? It is a Ghost-type Pokemon, because as is the case with all the Paldean starters, it changes typing upon full evolution. Um, and it's got the dozing type, as is typical for ghost type Pokemon in this game. However, if I was to investigate the Croc and its pre-evolutions, they're on snoozing type. So you're really going to be hunting them on snoozing type because they are fire type Pokemon, not ghost type. Only the Skeledirge is dozing, being a ghost type Pokemon. Now, what does the Skeledirge do? It's an ingredient specialist, and it's got a very high, very tremendously high ingredient rate of 26.8%, with slightly below average speed at 45 minutes. It's also got a really high skill trigger rate of 6.2%, but its skill is Charge Energy S, which is kind of a meh skill. It's nice on ingredient specialists because it allows for them to be more flexible, swapped off the team and rotated a bit more. And this guy, given that he has Charge Energy S, and this high of a skill trigger rate, it's just always going to have energy. You don't have to worry about the Skeledirge running low, unless it's got like an energy recovery down nature, and like absolutely nothing for skill triggers at all throughout its sub-skills and nature. Then maybe you might have some energy issues. But I'd say overall, with this high of a skill trigger rate, and this main skill, and it's a 3-stage Pokemon, so that main skill is ideally going to be level 3, it's going to be fine for energy all the time. But yeah, very high ingredient rate, very high, or just slightly below average speed. Decent inventory, especially for a 3-stage Pokemon of 19. That goes up to 29 after evolution. Potentially 37 with ribbons. Yeah, this dude is insane at what it does. I wouldn't recommend holding off and keeping it as a Crocolore unless, like I said with my Meowscarada video, if you're already at Top Hollow and you're just spending some time there anyway, then maybe keep it as a Crocolore if you're just waiting to evolve it. But if you find that you're getting the apples that you need, but Skeledirge is going to be a huge step up because it's got a couple steps up in ingredient rate and it gets faster. So way more ingredients you'll get out of this guy. And that's really what it's trying to do. It's not trying to produce berries, especially with this high of an ingredient rate. It's not producing berries all that often, especially if you have ingredient finding sub-skills that you want on an ingredient specialist. So don't worry about the type change. Now, what does Skeledirge do? Realistically, Skeledirge is a mono Pokemon. It as of right now, there are there's not a single meal in the game that has apples and sausages in it at the same time, as to my knowledge. So you really don't want sausages on this guy to synergize with the apples, and herbs with apples don't really have any synergy either. Herbs and sausage have a little bit of synergy with corn keema curry, but there are other mon combos that can handle corn keema curry better than what Skeledirge can do, especially with it being an ABC Pokemon, because you're really just wasting that that A ingredient, and it's going to be way less reliable at doing what you want it to do, if that's what you're looking for. So, you really want him doing mono apples. You can consider mono sausage, or ABB, using it as a sausage mon. But if you look at the comparison there, it's actually kind of sad for Skeledirge. It's outperformed by a Charmeleon at sausage options, without a ribbon. If I give the Charmeleon a ribbon, then that changes the comparison even further to make it so that Skeledirge is outperformed by a Charmander with a maxed out ribbon. Now, nobody's running that because that'd be ridiculous. But overall, you can see that it's not the best for sausages. But when we look at the apple comparison, my goodness, it is absurd. Firstly, there's not a single other Pokemon that can do apples. A single other ingredient Pokemon that can do apples that is not a 16 pip option. We have Absol, Pinsir, and Delibird. And all of these guys are, except for maybe Pinsir, Absol and Delibird are way better for their A ingredient. Delibird's the only mono egg option, and Absol is the best at cacao. So you really don't want them doing apples unless you just happen to catch them sooner. Pinsir maybe, but Pinsir's kind of in a weird spot that it's like, why would you even be hunting a Pinsir? That's a good question. So then the only other mono options become berry specialists, which, while they can produce a decent amount of ingredients, the thing that you're not looking for them for their ingredient list. You're hunting for them for good berry stats first and foremost. So ingredients are like a side production, and even then, Skeledirge produces more than double the amount of ingredients than what Raichu, the best option for the apples, has. So realistically, if you need a boatload of apples, then Skeledirge is your man. And it is just crazy how many apples this guy can kick out. Like, if I give it just this combo, that's 159 apples a day. You don't ever need that many. You can reasonably be rotating this guy in and off the team. Now, I will say apples do have the highest ingredient cost of any ingredient in the game, taking 35 in a single meal. That means you do need 105 per day to be making Zing Zap Spice Cola consistently. So Skeledirge actually does have a reasoning to produce this many amount of apples. It's just crazy when you look at this comparison, especially because the other Pokemon that do have apples in their list do not even come close. So it's in a weird spot that it really has one job and is just really, really good at that one job. This is a very inflexible Pokemon as of right now. It only does the mono apple. This could change if they release more meals that have some synergy with sausage, apples, and or herbs. But as of right now, don't bother with any other list than the mono apple. You could maybe consider ABA because it's so good at doing what it does that even with ABA, it can theoretically surpass that 105 threshold. And if you need a temp invest, then there's always the option of AAX options, because it can do okay at level like 30 with just the double A. It's producing, you can see here, 111 if it has this sort of stats. That can meet your needs. Maybe you don't need to invest up to level 60 to get your apples, because maybe you'll get your enough apples at just level 30. So there are considerations there. But for long-term investments, I would not suggest anything other than mono apple on this guy. And that is me speaking, probably the biggest defender of mixed ingredient lists in the entire community. So, if you want to hunt Skeledirge, it's at Cyan Beach, Top Hollow, Old Gold Power Plant at its top form. Crocalore is going to be at the same places, and I believe Fuecoco is also at Greengrass. So, given that, if you want to hunt it, go to Cyan, Top, or Old Gold. You don't need to bother going to Greengrass. I wouldn't suggest it at Greengrass because it only spawns at base level, and Greengrass has the Greengrass problem of everything spawns at Greengrass, so you're not going to be able to hunt anything in particular. But if you need an apple farmer, my goodness, this guy's your guy. And he does it very, very, very well. Anyway, if you have enjoyed the video, maybe learned something, then be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It does help out the channel. Come join us, hang out in the Discord. That link will be in the description. And as always, I thank you guys for watching and hope that you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye now.